Welcome back to episode 2 of Hard Locks College Football Edition here on the Videtta Sports Media YouTube channel. Right at the jump here, we apologize for the technical issues during week 1, not being able to get it uploaded onto the YouTube channel. I will take responsibility for that. That is my fault. I'm not going to make any excuses. I dropped the ball on it, but that's why we're going live here on YouTube, so you guys never miss another upload and another episode of Hard Locks. This is week 2 of the Hard Locks season for college football. I'm joined by Chickster as always. Chickster, how are we doing?
I'm good. Do you want to go to week 1 and I'm talking about briefly, I'm talking about as brief as a fucking old man briefs, try to figure out, I don't know. I couldn't think of anything. And just do week 1 what we picked. And so, okay, first one, I'll do the talking. Garrett picked Virginia Tech. I picked Vanderbilt. I was right on that one, so it's 1-0 Chickster.
Shout out Diego Paideia.
Then we have Clemson and Georgia. We both picked Georgia. We had Oklahoma State, and we had, who was that, South Dakota. We both picked Okies. We picked the Oklahoma State. We both picked Colorado State, and we were not right. Texas ended up fucking them, so my bad. We both picked the Zips.
Both picked Akron.
Yeah, we both picked the Zips, and we were barely covered, but I'll take it. I'll take a. We had Penn State and West Virginia. We both took Penn State. Alabama and Western Kentucky. We both took Alabama, obviously. I took Fresno State, and Garrett took Michigan, and bad beat there. Barely missing the spread by 3 points. Then Notre Dame and Texas A&M. We both picked Texas A&M, which we were wrong about. If you didn't see the live show, we recapped it on what was it called, Garrett? Go ahead.
Leave My Saturdays Alone, brought to you by
Leave Your Saturdays Alone. Here we go. Okay, so we both recapped that game. And this one, I picked the Lobos, and Garrett picked Arizona. So those were the 3 games that we differed on, Garrett. So, and I went 8-2.
Which means I went 5-5. I get it. How do you put up 61 points and you can't cover the spread, bro? That's ridiculous.
That's why I was like, I'm not sure if Arizona's good. I'm not sure if they're good yet.
61 points and we can't even cover the spread is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex for going over the week 1 picks and going over who we picked. Shout out to him. Listen, I'm going to do anything I can at this point going into week 2. Last week, I prepped quite a bit. And look where it got me. Alex came into it and said, hey, listen, I didn't look at dick. I'm just going to go by ingenuity and how my nuts feel.
I didn't look at dick again. The Nuggets is working, man.
You want to know what? This is the first game I've looked at all week. I'm trying your method. I'm just gonna go by my nuts. We're just gonna see what happens.
Hey man, whatever.
And what is the game of the week? There's only really 2 games of note this week. It's Texas, Michigan, and it's CU, Nebraska. That's really about it. Those are kind of your big talking points this week. Michigan is plus. Wait, I'm getting caught up by cables. Jesus Christ. Michigan is plus 6.5 at home. Remember from last year, pardon me, that I love home dogs. However, Michigan really struggled to move the ball last week against a Fresno State team. They only put up 30 points. And Texas looks like they picked up where they left off last year in the regular season. They looked incredible.
They played Colorado State.
Are you buying into the Texas hype and taking the points, or is it hard to bet against a home underdog?
I don't know. Something in me, maybe it's the pettiness, but I can't find myself to root for Michigan again. I don't know. I don't know what it is. As soon as I find something that, people differ with me on, I just feel like, you know what, now I have to make this my thing. I'm almost as much of a Michigan hater as I am Ohio State fan. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even an Ohio State fan, but, I'll hate them as much as Ohio State does. Give me Texas. And it's still horns down all day. I'm not going to lie to you. It's still horns down. I'm creating enemies everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Everywhere.
So it's still horns down. However, I do think Texas looked pretty nasty. Worried about Michigan offense, as we talked about, without Harbaugh. So that, I feel like that plays a factor into it. So Michigan kind of struggling to only put 30 on Fresno State and then having to cover against Texas. It might be something. I don't know. I think Michigan's defense can I don't know. I think Michigan's offense can be okay against defense, but I don't think Texas is going to put up points, and I don't think Michigan can keep up. I think that's what's going to happen.
I think
So,
this game is going to be a track race, in the
yeah.
sense that Michigan is going to try to. They're going to have to keep up with Texas's high octane offense, and I don't know that they can. I'm also
Well,
going to take. I'm also going to take Texas. This one for me is a kind of an expensive game.
it's expensive.
I do love Will Johnson though. I have Will Johnson as my CB1 this year.
Oh yeah, he's
I
good.
think that he's nuts. I think him and Mason Graham could both be top 15 picks in the NFL draft this upcoming year. Those guys are absurd. We didn't get a lot out of the quarterback play. Didn't see a ton out of Donovan Edwards. The offense concerns me, and I don't think that they can keep up with Texas's offense. So I'm also going with Texas.
I think people are so high on Michigan because Harbaugh was there and now he's not, and I don't think they're catching up to how much Harbaugh did as a coach.
And it is Sharon Moore. Really, this is his first season as the true head coach. He was acting head coach during some of the Harbaugh issues last year as well. So maybe it's just an adjustment period there too. Oh, this one's just glitch. I saw 0% picked, and I'm like, the entire country is picking Oklahoma State. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Oklahoma State's -8.5 against the Razorbacks. I kind of thought last week's game against South Dakota State might have been close, and it wasn't. Ollie Gordon picked up right where he left off last year, running wild against the Jackrabbits, scoring a bunch of touchdowns. He looks every bit as the Doak Walker Award winner last year, and he's still probably the favorite to go back-to-back this year. Oklahoma State's -8.5. I'm going to take Oklahoma State. I think they have a good environment at home. They can pound the rock. If they control time of possession, I don't think this one's close.
DJ will be there. I have to stick with him.
True.
I think if it was, I don't know, 8.5 is a weird spread. I'm picking Oklahoma State, but it's a weird spread. So I don't know, but I am gonna go Oklahoma State here. Sometimes you just gotta ride with royalties here.
That's, you know what, you got a point.
Yeah.
Tulane is +10.5 hosting ranked Kansas State. Kansas State being one of the favorites to win their conference this year. They're ranked 17th in the country. 73% of the country is riding with the Wildcats to go into Tulane and pick up a win by 11 or more. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Maybe it's just me. I'm not fully in on the Kansas State hype yet. You honestly know what I'm thinking? Tulane's kind of funky. And when you get funky, I like the funk. And I might just go Tulane here. I ain't gonna lie. It's just, and Tulane at home, that's usually they usually have a great crowd. I think it was actually 9.5. I like this a lot more for Kansas State. That just little hook is just nasty business. I'm gonna go Tulane here. I don't know, just something funky about Tulane is screaming to me.
I think I might. I don't know, because Tulane can put up points. They put up 52 in their home opener. I understand we're talking about playing lesser teams, and I get that, but putting up 52 is still an impressive feat no matter what. On the same token, though, Kansas State also put up 41 as well. Yeah. So it comes down to, for me, maybe who has the more high-powered offense, and I do think that Tulane might be able to score more, but on the same token, I think the Kansas State is better coached. They have a better defense.
I think Kansas State wins, but I think Tulane can keep it close.
A lot of points.
That's what I'm saying. I think if it's 9.5, I actually like this for Kansas State, but I think that actually, because that's a 9.5 is a touchdown and a field goal, but now you're saying 11 points, so now it just it puts a different vibe on it, and it's that 1 point extra is it's killer for me. So I'm just gonna go Tulane here, and I'm maybe looking at a backdoor cover here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a backdoor cover. Tulane's just trying to stay in the game, and they score and they cover at the end. So
let me look up something really quick.
Well, you look that up. I don't know.
I'm gonna take Tulane. I'm taking Tulane as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the points as a home dog. Tulane was stellar last year. They went 11-3. So that coaching staff is still pretty good there as well. So I may have talked out of my ass there a little bit. I'll take the points. I'll take the points. We've got Utah minus 15.5 against Baylor. Baylor's nothing special this year. Baylor is in the midst of trying to rebuild that program. I don't see any way that Utah kind of blows this one. They're nothing special. Cam Rising's there for like his 9th year of football. It seems like he's been in college since before COVID. I'll take Utah. I know it's a lot of points, but Utah very well coached.
What is an oot? What's an oot?
A ute?
What is that? Yeah, what is that?
Tell the people you're picking. I'll look it up.
I'm gonna go Utah as well. Just based on not necessarily I don't believe in Utah, and I'm not saying Utah can't cover. It's not that I don't think they can cover or can't cover. I just think Baylor's bad.
They're bad. That's fair. That's entirely fair to say.
And they haven't been good since old fuckface that went to
RG3.
Carolina. No, before that. What's his fuck? The dude that was coaching there, then he went to Carolina.
Matt Rule.
There you go. Thank you.
Matt Rule. I know who you're talking about now.
They haven't really even been like, and I think Baylor's more turning into a basketball school is what it looks like. They're turning more into a basketball.
Pretty good. That's fair.
Yeah.
So history lesson with stupid red bearded fuck here. The University of Utah's athletic team are nicknamed the Utes in honor of the Ute tribe. The University of Utah is a memorandum.
Yep.
Of
Skip over it. Be confident.
With the Ute Indian tribe, which includes funding for Ute Indian students in tribal educational programs. The Ute tribe are the indigenous people of the Great Basin region and have lived in the area for at least 1,000 years. The word Ute means land of the sun. The Utes are known for trading tanned elk and deer hides, as well as dried meat, tools, and weapons.
Hey, land of the sun. That's cold as fuck.
That is kind of hard. I can't.
Do they have some Native American merch, bro? I just became a Utah fan. That shit's kind of tough. I'm not even going to hold you.
South Carolina plus 9.5, staying in the SEC, going to play Kentucky. Kentucky's got to win this game by 10 or more. I like Kentucky's offense this year. I think Brock Vandegrift could really surprise some people. Barry Brown is arguably the fastest player in the country. They've got a defensive tackle down there who's a fucking monster. Good Lord. However, on the South Carolina side of the ball, they got some dogs. They got some players. Nick Harbor's going to be really, really good. I think that I'm going to go with Kentucky here. I think this is kind of an expensive game as well because it's kind of weird taking teams playing in conference for the first time. I think Kentucky has the potential to really put up points. I don't know that I have a ton of faith in Lenoris Sellers in this offense because Lenoris Sellers did not look very good in the opening game.
No,
for them, he did not look very good. So I'm gonna take Kentucky.
I'll take South Carolina.
Oh Lord.
I'll take them. I don't know. I feel like they're a pretty evenly matched team. One prop bet for you. Dylan Stewart. Take the over on the sacks. Take the over.
Dylan Stewart is the other name who's an athletic freak of nature.
Take the over. They're going to be so scared of that guy they can't run the ball. They can't do nothing with that guy in there.
Dylan Stewart has the trajectory to be one of the better pass rushers in the country if he puts on a little muscle. I know he's like Alex said it off camera. We were getting into the second stream here tonight. He's like 240, 245.
He's 6'5", 248, and he looks slender as fuck.
If he gets to 260, 265 and just adds a bunch of muscle and bulk in the offseason, it might be over for the SEC. It might be over. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. We've got Maryland minus 9.5 hosting Michigan State. This one is interesting as well. Both teams won their
a lot of expensive games, Garrett.
It's a weird week. There's not a lot of like good games going on
So
this
you're
week.
like, a lot of people, we're just kind of not throwing darts, but it's kind of like, I don't know.
I will say this, and I know I'm taking the first pick again. I'll let you pick first on the next one, I promise.
I don't care.
I've learned, well, I'll try to keep things balanced here. I've learned from last year going into this year, you always ride with Vendetta. I made that mistake last year with Matt Hannafin and picking against Nevada, and it bit me in the ass. I'm riding with the fighting Carl Heisers.
You
And I'm
got to
taking
go with the Carl
Maryland.
Heisers. What
You
are we
have to.
talking about? What
Which,
are we
by the
talking
way,
about?
this might be insider trading information here, but Carl Heiser might be making a return to article writing at like a legit level,
Oh,
like
oh
pumping
shit.
out content.
Oh,
So
there.
maybe
Oh,
keep an
there.
eye on that. If Carl Heiser comes
there.
back and he's writing articles,
It's
it's
over.
game over.
It's
Carl's
over.
one of the best.
What was the game before? I did not write that down. Poor little me. Thank you. South Carolina and Kentucky. Go ahead.
Also, I just want to touch on this really, really quick. Like, do you remember like a decade ago when Michigan State was one of the best college football teams in the country, like year over year?
Who?
Michigan State. They were constantly ranked in the top 10 every single year.
In football?
Yes.
Uh,
I feel like that's
no.
forgotten lore in Big Ten history, but like Michigan State had like a 4 or 5 year run where they always found themselves during the year in the top 10. It's crazy. And now the program's really bad, and their college basketball program's not necessarily totally better, but
Well, they don't recruit very well anymore.
that is
Tom
true.
Izzo's still a great coach, and I'm scared of him in March. But like player wise, they don't ever have the
Bring him
talent.
in. That's fair. I'm taking Maryland. It sounds like you're taking Maryland as well.
Got to ride with the Carl Heisers.
Got to ride with them. Alabama minus 30.5 taking on South Florida. It was the debut last week for Kalen DeBoer in this new look offense for the Tide. Jalen Milroe looked really good. True freshman Ryan Williams looks like he's ready to take the country by storm. It seems like a slam dunk pick here, Alex, but what are you thinking?
If Bama plays anything like they did last week against whoever the fuck, then
Western
I'm
Kentucky.
not. There you go. I'm not worried. So I'm gonna go Bama here. I think they can cover 31 points.
I'm taking Alabama as well for what it's worth. Western Michigan plus 38.5 traveling into Columbus to play the Ohio State Buckeyes. We did benefit last week taking Akron. They covered. It was 50.5. This is 38.5.
This is a little bit more manageable.
I feel like this is a little bit more manageable as well. I'm taking Ohio State.
I'm going to as well. And people might be like, yeah, of course you are, but like this is closer than it looks. I wouldn't be surprised if, Western, whoever was it, Michigan or something?
Western Michigan, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they get within a touchdown of the spread total. Like, I do, like, I think it'd be like around that 45, 42. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this is a slam dunk spread. Ohio State on paper is that good, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
And that game last week started off really rough for the offense too. Like they didn't put up a lot of points early. A lot of their points came in later in the game.
Yeah. So I'd just be worried about that. So
we are moving on to Oklahoma minus 27.5 hosting Houston. I will say, what the fuck is going on? I'm trying to pull up stats for you really quick.
Who did Houston play last week?
Houston played. I
think that's
UNLV lost 27-7.
Huh. Okay.
Jackson.
I got my pick.
Jackson Arnold is the quarterback at Oklahoma. He has some talent around him, but there's a lot of question marks. It's considerably around consistency. It's a lot of big words for Elmo there. A lot of syllables. I almost tripped me up, but I powered through. Jackson Arnold looked pretty decent last week. He only threw for 141 yards, but he put up 4 touchdowns. I think that this could be a really good showcase game for him as well. I'm taking Oklahoma.
I'm taking Oklahoma because if Houston's having trouble, covering a 20-point spread against UNLV. I'm like Oklahoma is, yeah. So we're gonna go Oklahoma as well there.
Yep. In our final game of the week, Boise State plus 18.5, traveling to Autzen to play the Oregon Ducks. This one is really interesting because it's week 2 of Dylan Gabriel in Oregon, who he went bananas last week. Tez Johnson went bananas last week, but only a 10-point win against Idaho. That's really interesting because they were probably at least plus, or not plus. They were probably minus 30 or 40 going into that game. On the flip side of that, this is a really big test for the Genty believers out there who have him as running back 1. Now, if you haven't
running back 1's crazy.
If you haven't yet taken a look at Leave My Saturdays Alone, check that out on the Dead Sports Media YouTube as well. I had him as my player of the week last week. 267 and 6 touchdowns on the ground is very, very impressive. I know they played Georgia Southern. It's still really impressive. This is going to be the test, though. If he is a true running back 1 contender in this class, it's going to show up here.
I like him. I don't have him. That's crazy. I have him outside running back 5.
We touched on it during the Leave My Saturdays Alone show. We see the biggest jump in quality of play from week 1 to week 2. And I'd like to think that we're going to see something a little bit better from this Oregon team. Alex, do you think 18.5 is manageable for Oregon? Like, are we going to see more production from the offense, or does Boise State have enough on the ground to keep this game close?
I'm going to tell you this. Boise State had a great game from Ashton Jeanty, whatever. If I don't even know if I'm saying that right. That game was closer than it should have been with Georgia Southern. Like that game it was closer than it needed to be for me. So yeah, it wasn't a blowout like you might expect. What do you got? What was the score? Tell me the score again. Remind me.
It was really close.
That's what I'm saying. It was not. It was a close game.
Boise State won 56-45.
This is why I'm not sure why it's 50-50, because if you're struggling against Georgia Southern, and maybe I am discrediting Georgia Southern here, but fuck, like Oregon played bad as far as discipline wise. They played fine offensively. They're going to clean that up. I think Oregon is going to skull fuck Boise State. I don't think getting at least 3 touchdowns on this game is like them having more than 3 touchdown lead is questionable. Like I think I'm going to pick Oregon. I'm kind of shocked that this is a 50-50 split down the middle with America right now. I'm definitely going Oregon for myself.
It's worth noting that I just put up the stat and my fucking goldfish memory already forgot. Oregon held.
Toast.
I'm trying to see if I smell smoke.
Toast or smoke, one of those.
Oregon held Idaho to 49 rushing yards for the entire game last week.
Which is Idaho, I get that.
But that's still pretty impressive. Last week, Ashton Jeanty had 2 rushing touchdowns longer than 75 yards. So he's got big play potential, and he is a major threat out of the backfield as well in the pass game. I have Oregon as arguably my favorite to win the national championship. Arguably, there's a couple teams in the mix.
Obviously, for me, it's not. If you're giving up that many points to Georgia Southern, Oregon's going to fuck you. Like, especially after a week under their belt. That's my thought process on this. But we did only differ on one game this week, though, Garrett, so far.
I know that I need to make up some ground. I just don't think this is the week to do it.
It's
I think
a long season. It's a long.
there's gonna be weeks to come where I can make up some ground. I'm gonna take Oregon. I don't really feel all that great about it. I think that the run game at Boise State showed like they showed what they can do last week, and they're gonna put up some rushing yards. They're gonna put up some points, but Dan Lanning's gonna have this thing figured out,
That's my
right?
thing. Yeah, he's gonna have it.
Hopefully, he's gonna have it figured
Now,
out,
don't get me wrong. JC might still have 100, 150 yards.
right?
Maybe a touchdown or two. I don't think that's out of possibilities. I just think that Oregon is going to force you to throw against them because Oregon is going to put up points. And if you don't throw and you run the entire time, you're going to run out of time. And they're going to put up points. So
To go
both going
over
Oregon here?
we're both going Oregon here.
Okay.
Going over the games this week, we're only differentiating on one. We're both taking Texas -6.5, Oklahoma State -8.5. We're both taking the home dog in Tulane +10.5. We're both taking the Utes,
Which is the land of the Sun tribe.
which is the land of the sun. Very tough. This is the game we differ on. Alex is taking South Carolina. I'm taking Kentucky.
You might win that one, actually.
We're taking Maryland -9.5, Alabama -30.5, Ohio State -38.5, Oklahoma State 27.5, and Oregon -18.5. Alex, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I'm in the lead for right now. Might not be for much longer, though. That's all it is.
Hey, listen, I'm down 3 games after week 1. It's a tough start. Like you said, though,
Week
it's a long
week
season.
one's always tough, though.
And not for some people who go 8-2.
Well, my nuts were on fire, and sometimes you have bum nards and they don't work. So that's what it is.
That, you know what? Maybe that happens later, and I'm not going to root for it this week because I'm tailing a lot of your picks as well. Weeks down the line, when we split 5-5, I need some bum nards out of you.
We went like 3-10 or 3-7.
We go 3-6 this week. I'd lose it. All right, that's it for Hard Locks College Football Edition. Thank you so much for watching another video here on the Videtta Sports Media YouTube channel. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up on it. Comment down below your picks this week. Share this one with a friend. If you haven't subscribed already to the Videtta Sports Media YouTube channel, what are you doing? It's free. It takes 1.5 seconds. Press that subscribe button. Ring the bell so you don't miss any more uploads coming out of the channel. We're going to see you next time.